All right, so uh, DeepSeek R1, right?
Right.
Everyone's talking about it. It's topping the charts, shaking up the stock market. I mean, are people really ditching ChatGPT already?
Oh, there's definitely a lot of buzz, that's for sure. A lot of excitement.
It does sound like hype, though, right?
Oh,
How good can it really be?
yeah.
Well, that's what we're going to find out.
Right.
We're going to do a deep dive today and see what the futz is really about. We've got a ton of articles, some hands-on testing notes, and I've even got our expert here to help us break it all down.
Excited to be here.
Okay, so first things first, what exactly is DeepSeek R1?
So DeepSeek is a Chinese AI company, and R1 is their newly released reasoning model. And get this, it's open source.
Reasoning model. So this isn't just another AI that writes poems and, helps you with emails.
Exactly. This is about actual problem solving, multi-step problem solving. Instead of just predicting the next word in a sentence, it can tackle complex problems.
Okay, so it's smart, but
Yeah.
everyone's going crazy for it. What's making everyone go nuts?
Well, for one thing, it's matching the performance of OpenAI's most advanced model, the one that costs $20 a month.
Oh, yeah, the one I haven't gotten around to subscribing to.
Right. Well, R1's doing a lot of the same things, but it's completely free.
Wait, free. Okay, now it's officially sounding too good to be true.
And because it's open source, people can run it on their own computers?
Wait, so no need to send your data to, China.
Exactly. Running it locally is a big deal for anyone concerned about data privacy.
Okay, I'm intrigued, but, got to be a little skeptical, right? What's with this claim that it only cost $6 million to develop? I mean, come on.
Yeah, that raised some eyebrows. It's probably more realistic to think of that figure as maybe the cost of a single training session. Total cost is likely higher, but still, it could be a fraction of what competitors are spending.
So cheaper to develop, free to use. Got to be a catch, right?
Well, the catch is that we're still early, It's
Mhm.
powerful, but how it evolves over time is yet to be seen. However, one thing to note is that for users, the API usage is a fraction of what OpenAI charges. We're talking pennies on the dollar.
Wow, that's huge, especially for businesses who want to, use AI but can't shell out a fortune.
Absolutely. It could be a game changer, especially for smaller companies and startups.
Okay, so it's cheaper, potentially more private. Yeah. But how is it actually different? Does it do anything unique compared to other AI models?
Well, one key difference is how it combines supervised fine-tuning with reinforcement learning, also known as RL.
Okay, break that down for us non-AI folks. What does that even mean?
Imagine teaching a kid math. Supervised learning is like showing them the right way to solve the problem, and they learn by following your instructions. RL is more like letting them experiment, make mistakes, and figure things out on their own. R1 does both.
So it's kind of like a quick learner, figures things out from their mistakes, then gets even better at solving harder problems.
Exactly. And that makes it much better at complex reasoning and adapting to new situations.
Okay, now I'm really curious. What's it like to actually use DeepSeek? You've been playing around with it. What's your experience been like so far?
Well, first I decided to do a little smartphone showdown.
Ooh, tell me you put Siri up against it.
Of course. But I also wanted to see how it stacked up against ChatGPT, so I threw that in the mix too.
Okay, so which phone is the ultimate AI overlord? Give us the juicy details.
Well, I used that classic two trains logic problem as a test. The one where two trains leave different stations at different times and speeds?
Yeah, classic. Did any of them crash?
Thankfully, no. DeepSeek not only nailed the right answer, but it also showed its chain of thought, the steps it took to reason through the problem. Fascinating to see how it got to the solution.
Wait, so it actually shows its work. That's amazing. What did ChatGPT do?
Just gave the answer, no reasoning, no explanation.
Wow, okay, so points for transparency for DeepSeek.
It's really cool. That's what I love about this chain of thought feature. You can actually see the AI's process, which, helps build trust. You can actually understand how it reached its conclusions.
Okay, so it aced the smartphone test.
Yeah.
But can it handle bigger challenges?
Well, let's just say things got even more interesting when I took it to my computer.
All right, so DeepSeek can handle, logic puzzles on a phone. It even shows its work, which is crazy. But what about, really demanding tasks? Can it write code? Can it whip up a script? I don't know. Can it do my taxes?
Well, let's just say it doesn't disappoint on the big screen. I put it through its paces on my desktop, and pretty impressive.
Okay, give us the highlights.
First off, the interface. Super sleek, very intuitive, which I appreciated. But the real kicker, you can run HTML code directly within DeepSeek, which is something you can't do with ChatGPT.
Wait, seriously? Like you can just execute code right there in the interface?
Yep. Super convenient for like testing out snippets of code or even, building simple web pages.
That's got to be a game changer for developers or anyone who, like, even dabbles in web design. Oh, but how did the actual code generation compare to ChatGPT?
So I gave both models the task of creating a 3D ball using code. To be honest, ChatGPT's visual output was slightly more polished, but DeepSeek's direct execution capability, that's just so darn useful.
Yeah, it's like the difference between having a fancy 3D printer versus being able to, just mold the object yourself. Sometimes hands-on is just better.
Exactly. And speaking of hands-on, I even had DeepSeek write a script for a funny skit about the iPhone 17.
Ooh, very meta to make you laugh.
DeepSeek's script was surprisingly witty. It had this very human-like humor to it. ChatGPT's attempt felt a bit more robotic, I'd say.
Okay, so DeepSeek has a sense of humor.
Yeah.
I like it. Okay, so all this talk about data going to China, it's got me thinking, have you tried running it locally on your computer?
Oh, absolutely. I've been using LM Studio to run DeepSeek locally on my Mac, which it's surprisingly straightforward, even if you're not like a tech wizard or anything. And of course, running it locally totally eliminates any concerns about data privacy.
It's like having your own personal AI, tucked away safely on your computer.
Exactly. And for those who maybe don't have the latest and greatest hardware, there are also what are called distilled versions of R1 available. These are basically lighter versions of the full model that can run more efficiently on, less powerful machines.
So no matter your tech setup, you can still tap into DeepSeek's potential,
Yeah.
which is amazing. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. DeepSeek is cheaper, potentially more private, can solve problems, write code, even, crack jokes. But there's got to be a downside.
Of course, every new technology comes with its challenges and potential drawbacks. And with DeepSeek, one of the biggest concerns is, well, it's the elephant in the room, right? Data privacy.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking about. Sending data to Chinese servers.
Yeah.
It's got to raise some red flags for people. What are your thoughts on that?
It's a totally valid concern and something each user needs to weigh carefully. It is important to note, though, that DeepSeek's privacy policy is it's actually pretty similar to OpenAI's. They both collect data like user input, keystrokes, IP addresses.
Okay, but if I'm really, really concerned about my data going to China, what are my options?
Well, as we discussed, running DeepSeek locally eliminates that risk. Completely. It's a huge advantage over something like ChatGPT, where, you're reliant on their servers.
So you can have your cake and eat it too, kind of.
Yeah.
Control the data, reap the benefits.
Exactly. And there are also US-based providers like Together AI, which offers access to DeepSeek without your data going directly to China. They essentially act as a middleman.
So there are options out there, but it sounds like being informed and making conscious choices is it's really key here.
Absolutely. Data privacy is complex and there's no easy answers, but understanding the nuances of how these companies operate, what data they collect, it's crucial.
Okay, so we've really explored this whole DeepSeek R1 thing, what it is, what it can do, even, how to use it without sending your data off to China. But let's zoom out for a second. Why does any of this even matter to like the average person? Is this just, a techie playground, or there's something bigger going on here?
Well, it matters because AI is, it's not science fiction anymore. It's already woven into our lives, whether we realize it or not. Those algorithms that are, deciding what you see on social media, or even just like those voice assistants we ask for the weather. DeepSeek is just it's the latest and maybe the most dramatic example of how AI is becoming so powerful and so accessible.
Okay, so no robot apocalypse. Got it. But do I really need to understand AI to just, function in the world?
I think it's helpful. Think about it this way. If you didn't understand how the internet worked back in the 90s, you could still use it, but you'd miss out on a lot of its potential. Same with AI. The more you understand, the better equipped you'll be to actually use it to, your advantage.
So it's not about fearing AI. It's about understanding it and figuring out how to use it. But how? How do we even do that?
Honestly, it can be as simple as just like staying curious. There are tons of resources out there online, books, articles, documentaries. Just start exploring and don't be afraid to, just get hands-on, try different AI tools, even if it's just for fun. That's how you really learn what they can do.
Yeah, just playing around with DeepSeek has been like
Yeah.
a real eye-opener for me. It makes you realize how quickly this stuff is developing. But with all this power, there's got to be some responsibility that comes with it, right?
100%. I mean, AI has the potential to solve some huge problems, you know? We're talking climate change, cures for diseases, but it also has the potential to create new problems or even make existing inequalities worse if we're not careful. It's like giving a toddler a chainsaw. Powerful. Yes. Potentially very dangerous. Also, yes.
Okay, I'm officially slightly terrified. But you're saying like we have a role to play in making sure this stuff is used for good?
Exactly. It's not just, up to governments and tech companies to figure this out. We all need to be part of the conversation. I think a good place to start is just being aware of how AI is already being used in your everyday life, Ask questions. If you're using, a product or service and it's powered by AI, find out how it works, what data it's collecting, how that data is being used.
So knowledge is power, but what else can we do?
Well, even just talking about these issues with, friends, family, colleagues, that can make a difference. The more we're talking about these ethical implications of AI, the more we can, collectively shape how it develops.
Okay, so final thoughts on DeepSeek R1. Is this like the game changer, the thing that revolutionizes the world? Or will it, fizzle out like so many other tech fads?
Honestly, I think it's too early to say for sure. It's definitely significant, though. This combination of, power, accessibility, and the fact that it's open source, that makes R1 a real force to be reckoned with. It's kind of like, throwing a grenade into the established order. It forces everyone to, step up their game.
So whether DeepSeek ultimately, wins or not, it's pushing the boundaries and really
Yeah.
making us rethink how we interact with AI.
Exactly. Disruption can be, uncomfortable, but I think it's often necessary for progress.
Well said. So to our listeners, we'll leave you with this. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep the conversation going. The future of AI is unfolding right now, and you have a voice in shaping it.
And who knows, maybe someday you'll be the one developing the next groundbreaking AI.
That's right. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into DeepSeek R1.